Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Alright, we are going to play with a new toy tonight. So we're going from 3D printer to laser engraving machine. So I'm kind of curious to what trouble we'll get in tonight. In all honesty, I doubt I'm going to fire it up tonight, but we're definitely going to put it together. This is the WainLux JL7, so pretty neat machine. Have not had experience with these. I'm kind of curious to play with it and you know, kind of just have a good time, put it together, see what all the bits and pieces are, and kind of just take a look at the machine. So this was sponsored by them. They sent me the machine for the video and stream that we're gonna see. So let's start getting this thing out of the box and start having some fun. So opening up the box, there are some cardboard pieces. They sent a piece of wood for the test model. So we'll set those off to the side here as we start to kind of dig in and take a look at what else is in the box. So foam, you guys know what I say about this foam. It's handy to keep around. You can do modeling with it, all kinds of fun stuff. So definitely something to keep in mind. All right, so first thing I'm gonna go for, that's the laser itself right there. So we've got the laser, nice crinkly bag. It's got a nice fan on it. Let's go ahead and hear that. So there's the visible laser. So avoid direct exposure to eyes. Yeah, we're gonna do that, but we can kind of take a look around with it a little bit to kind of get a feel of what we're dealing with here. So definitely pretty look to it. So I'm gonna set that gently off to the side here. Here's the safety glasses. Let's take those out and take a look. All right, so we've got the nice green tint. I know this camera is not really showing it very well, but it is the green tinted safety glasses. You can kind of get a view of it there looking over the white. Over at this camera, you guys can definitely get a view of it. So set those off to the side. Let's take a look at this box. I have a feeling this is our bits box with all of our screws and whatnot probably. Yep, we got a cleaning brush, looks like a USB cable, thumb drive, some zip ties, some bolts. So we'll dig into that here shortly. We got the all-important power cord. So, and that's USA standard. And we got a nice AC adapter. All right, so I'm gonna set that over here, out of the way. We'll get rid of that box. Now we're getting actually into the actual machine itself. So, very nice, very smooth metal. I like that there's a lot of grooves to intersect with. This looks like the main rolling piece where the laser is gonna roll. So we got a nice stepper motor. That's a higher quality one than what I usually see, so that's definitely good. The belt in there looks good, nice, kind of a little bit loose, not taunt, but that's adjustable, and that's what the screw right here is for, to adjust that tightness. So I'm gonna set that just out of view, and we're gonna pick up this foam and get down to the rest of it. All right, so here's one of the outer arms. I'm gonna kind of pull the box over a little bit so we can start setting this on the bench. So that looks like a lot of our control board, a lot of our motor cords and stuff like that are all coming out of right here, which is interesting because I don't see a power adapter. So somehow this is connecting somewhere else to get the power. I apologize about sound, guys. Someone's driving by, beating out, just listening to all their heart content. So, all right, let's keep going. So we got the side pieces, and it looks like we've got the other rail that will, with the stepper motor and the belts in it as well, for moving the other axis. And that looks like that is all to the machine. So let's get the book and let's start putting this together. So you're probably sitting there going, Mike, why are you putting one of these together? You do 3D printing. Well, this actually plays into the ball game here. It uses a lot of the same technologies, uses a laser. Oh, I just couldn't see it. So USB port, USB-C, that's cool. Power cord and AC adapter. Awesome. All right. Now, the most important thing anytime you're building one of these machines. Das Book. All right. So it doesn't look very complex. Got a very nice square frame. I like the square frame over the T-frame version because the square frame kind of gives a little bit of workability that we don't normally see. Sorry about the zoom, guys. It's doing its own thing here. Trying to see if I can get it to obey. White balancing. Let's see if it'll behave itself now. All right, so we're going to assemble the frame here. So, got a few wires, got a few supports. We got to get in the goodie bag here. All right. So we got the S2s, we got the S1s, got a Ziploc bag that's always good to keep around, guys. Always keep them around. We got some zip ties. We've got the SD card, and we've got a piece of metal. I wonder if this is for testing the engravement on metal, but we'll find out later. All right, so we got a cleaning. And we've got a USB to USB-C cable. More zip ties, and we've got a very nice little Phillips screwdriver, a couple out turnkeys, and a few little wrenches. All right, we got all our parts. Now let's start putting this guy together, shall we? So again, thank you to WainLux for sending this. It looks like a beautiful machine. The material is very nice. It's not flimsy. It's very strong. So, and that's a very important thing when you're working with tools. You want strong materials. So, all right, so S1s go on each side of this guy. All right. Easy enough. The Y-axis module. Okay, so you're going to go over here. Your motor is going to slide nicely inside and be hidden, which is very, very wise design. And we're going to see the same thing with this side. So stepper motors are going to slip inside, nice and hidey-hidey. You guys can kind of get the scope of the size of this machine. This is a 24-inch mat, and so basically we've got a 24 by, I believe, 24. The machine's 2 foot by 2 foot, which is not bad at all. It's more than enough to put a laptop in. Definitely kind of an easy way to kind of work on stuff. Then you've got this last backer piece that, well, if I move stuff, we'll go back here. So nice square frame. We're going to start getting that put together with the S1s. Then we're going to do some of the wiring, and we're going to take a very good close look at this guy. I know it's off the camera, guys, just the size of the machine. There's 3 on each side that just go right in the front. The stepper motor should be inside the frame here. It fits together really well. I really like how that fits together, and hides the motors from view. And if we get done with this and we haven't hit an hour, I am going to paint on the Mad Cat. So, got one just kind of not wanting to play ball. There's always one. That's what the Allen wrench is for. And normally I'd have my little screw gun with my hex head bits, but I ran the battery out on that earlier today, so it's up on the charger. So if you guys enjoy this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button too, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this, especially if we figure out how to, if we're making like specialized armor for cosplay or something like that, where we can print the armor and then come in here with the laser engraver for laser cut materials, along with the Cricut for dressing it up. We can do a lot of cool stuff, I think, with this. So that, and just kind of one of those things. It's built on the 3D printing technology premise with the XY axis. The only thing this doesn't have is a Z. Kind of just looking it over, I noticed there's no like lifter extension lifts for the legs. I'm sure they probably have a kit for it. That way I could put something bigger underneath it. But I'm sure I can come up with a 2x4 lifting system and stuff like that for this out in the shop. This is not something that's going to go up in the regular print shop. This is going to go out. It's going to go out in the garage for safety. All right, so I got to do the 3 pieces in the back, and then we got to do the wiring. So just to kind of show you guys, on this side, here's the 3 that I installed, and on the other side, it's the same thing, 3 right there. Now I'm going to turn around and do the same on this side. All right. So we'll grab that piece. And I'll get those in. So hopefully everybody's having a good night, enjoying themselves on this Tuesday. All right, get these back bolts in, kind of have this frame together, and then we will be putting the X-axis together with the mounting the laser head, which will be kind of fun, I think. So anybody out there been printing anything fun or doing anything interesting with their 3D printing? Definitely come on the chat and share, guys. All right, getting that bolt in there. Get this thing kind of framed up here. Usually once you get one, the others fall in pretty easy, which is always good. So looking at the machine and kind of judging what I'm seeing here, initially it's very hardy, very well constructed. The construction is very well thought out. With the hiding of the stepper motors, the way the metal frame fits together is very clean. Not a lot of jagged edges, stuff like that, which is very important. The square frame, the only thing that is you're limited to the area of the frame. But honestly, this is huge. I mean, this is bigger than my CR10. This is almost as big as my CR10 Max build plate. So the internal area of this metal frame is quite nice. All right, got those 6 bolts put together. 3, 3, 3. And now this piece, which I want to make sure I put it together properly, which looks like it goes this way. So awesome. So, and that's using the same bolts that we have been using, the S1s. Just want to make sure I get them lined up there. All right, there it goes. A lot smoother now. And get these last 2 in, and we'll have this access assembled. All right, so we got that on there, we got that in place. So we're through the initial page of the structure assembly. Now we actually get to have the fun and mount our laser into the frame. So we got to back this off so this will slide into the frame. Sorry if I'm getting my head in the way, I don't mean to. And we'll slide that down. Now what you want to do with a flat surface is you want to get the laser just above it and tighten that up. So that way it'll move around. Like right now I've got it way too low. You don't really want the laser overly visible, hurt your eyes. But now we have the laser in place. Now comes the fun. We've got all the main components on the machine. Now we got to wire it. So now we got to plug in the wires. So, and for the detail on here, it is recommended to flip the machine over, which not a bad recommendation. So we'll pick up the frame here and we'll flip it over. All right. So I'm going to start up here. And I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to plug in that stepper motor. This wire over here goes to this stepper motor. And then we've got the longer wires. Now to me this looks like stepper or limiting switches. So we got to make sure we get those placed properly. And we got a plug here and another plug here. I'm assuming this goes out to the laser, but I'm just making an assumption here. I've got the laser actually part kind of hanging off the desk at the moment. So, yeah, so this wire, it's showing these leads, but I don't see these anywhere. They were not in the bag, so I'm assuming that's what the zip ties are actually for, but I can't zip tie that because the zip tie can't go within the chassis, so that's a little problematic. So I'll have to figure this part out to making sure that S2 and S4, which aren't here, at least not with my machine. I've got an S2, but looking at this machine, there's no holes over here. And the machine's upside down, what they're showing here, because there's the circuit board, which is right there. So right now, this is just kind of laying down the surface of the machine. So I'll have to figure that out later on. And then this comes out here. So we've got this wire. I'll pull this back up so you guys can see. We've got this wire, which comes out to the laser itself. So I'll get that plugged in. Just like that. This one comes to the stepper motor. So we'll get that one plugged in. And then we've got what looks like these two limiting switches. I got to figure out where those are going right now. So, unless I just missed it. I don't know where these mount. X and Y axis. Not seeing that, so that's kind of a little discouraging. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I'm seeing. So the y-axis goes over here. So it looks like they both mount here. Okay. So one mounts here, one mounts here. Yeah, that's not confusing at all. But now it makes sense. And that's what the S2 bolts are for, so we'll use that. Which is what the smaller Allen wrench is for. And the small Phillips head screwdriver. And we'll get the X on the X-axis, and the Y will go on the Y-axis. When I do use this for the first time, it very much will be supervised. As I said, this is going to go out in my garage workshop area, not in the 3D printing shop with the other printers, just to make sure I don't have a smoke issue and stuff like that, because I've never used one of these before, so I'm curious to see how it's going to go. Whether it's going to smoke my house out or what it's going to do. So it's going to be a new experience, which is always good. New experiences take you out of your comfort zone. And that is a great thing sometimes, to move out of the comfort zone and experience new things. And that's kind of what's happening to me here. So hopefully everybody's doing good tonight. Remember, if you're new here and you're interested in the topics we're covering tonight, this might just be the only thing we cover tonight is disassembly, but I might move to some painting too. I have been itching to do some painting on some 3D prints I've got laying around. All right. One more screw. And I think I've got this all assembled up. There we go. Got our limiting switches in place to make sure our axes don't overrun. Got a few extra spare bolts laying here, which is always a good thing to have. Oh, okay, so this is the focusing fixing block, is what that is. So you put that down and then you put the engraved object underneath. So it aligns your laser module. It has inclination protection, which is always a good thing. Software is out there for download. I will have to be downloading that. If you guys want to see more with the laser engravers, definitely comment down below and let me know that this is actually a topic you want to see stuff on. So let's get this guy flipped over and actually kind of take a look at it. So before I put it back down, you guys can see the laser mounting, fans up, all that kind of stuff. I know the frame kind of gets in the way, but this very simple machine can actually make stuff a lot of fun because it kind of opens a door to what you can do material wise. So, and I'm noticing like right here would have been a great place to have a holder for the cord that I don't have. So I'm assuming that's maybe why the zip ties are here, to try to thread it through the holes. The instruction manual showed some holders, but I didn't see said holders. But if you get creative with fishing your zip tie there, you can easily get this guy mounted up so the cables are up safe and out of the way, like you guys see here. So definitely a very neat machine. So I'll work on that zip tie later. I can see where the intended mounts were for the other clips here, but I don't see a good way to put that on, so I'll do that later. But you guys can see here, very simple machine, USB plug into the PC. It's also got the USB-C port, so it's got both where you could use a thumb drive. It comes with an SD card insert and device, but I don't have an SD card. That's a little odd, but I know these guys sent me the files, so I'm not too worried about that, but that'll be something we do another time. I just wanted to get this guy assembled. This is the WainLux JL7 laser engraver. We're going to have some fun with this later on, but definitely a lot of value in the box. This thing is going to be, oh, I found the SD card. It was in the port. So we'll get that out and definitely play with that too and try some test prints and all kinds of fun stuff to do here. But that will be for a later day because I don't have my workbench put together yet. That was a project I was working on just today, was trying to get my garage cleaned up from the move. So, haha, lots of fun there. And definitely kind of curious in your guys' input on seeing what all is going through the 3D printing world here. Laser engraving, I mean, like I said, it's XY axis. It's built very much the similar way to a 3D printer is. Instead of filament, we're using a laser. We're burning into an object. So definitely kind of a very cool machine. This is a very large machine, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, this build area is about almost the same as my CR10 build plate that we've got here. So definitely a really cool area to work with. So I'm going to move this off to the side. What do you guys say we have some fun with painting? All right. Well, actually, I don't know, guys. I'm kind of thinking maybe I ought to kill the stream here. I don't know. Has anybody got any 3D printing questions, quandaries, problems, or anything they want to talk about tonight? Because I'm definitely open to doing a troubleshooting session too. Because those can be a lot of fun. Clean up my mess here and keep everything for that machine together. That would be very bad of me to lose everything here right at the end. Especially this engraving block, because I gotta understand how that works. So even I have to go through learning sessions and figuring out how new machines work. Like today, I was just struggling with the new Ender 3 S1 Pro, trying to figure out leveling issues with it. It was kind of being of a bear to work with. And still haven't solved it completely, so you know, that's kind of just how things go. Sometimes 3D printing can be a quandary. Oh. You can tell I started on this, I don't know how long ago. It has been a while, but definitely mad cat fun here. So, oh, I don't even know what colors to go with. That's always a hard one. I started with kind of the military camo. I don't have to stick to that. That's kind of the cool thing. You can always kind of change. Slid to the left here. You talking about the Constitution Refit Enterprise? How's it going today? It's been a long time, man. Glad to see you back. You just missed me playing with a laser. But this Mad Cat is, you know, this was the first 3D print someone gave me before I was even 3D printing. And I haven't really worked on it at all. I started it, and, well, we all know how life can get in the way of what you're doing. And that's kind of where we wound up. Oh. Time for the wet palette. Yeah, laser is going to be interesting once I have the garage set up. So right now the garage is, what did I do to this poor thing? Still very much a work in progress. So is the print shop. So, okay, now this says something, guys. Those are still tacky. And I haven't used this wet palette in probably early July was the last time I was in here. So that's a heck of a wet palette right there. That it still has tacky paint. The question is it usable paint? And the answer to that is more than likely yes. Got to get the good fun water out. Distilled water always makes a painter's friend. So that, yeah, different state, still tacky, still usable. A little tarish, but nothing a little bit of distilled water can't fix. That, I'm actually pretty impressed. This is a redgrass wet palette. So it's a much bigger brush than I wanted, but we can cover some of the, oh, helps if I keep it on screen. Still getting used to painting on stream. If we take our time, it'll paint on just fine. I can always switch to a smaller brush. So what's everybody else been working on? You guys can tell I am just now really kind of getting back into going. So the print shop is nearing completion. The electrical was done this last weekend, so should not have any brownouts. I got the new lighting installed, so we have been busy campers around here trying to get the print shop fixed, so that one, we can show you the new one, because I'm quite proud of this design. Shifting from the one that we had in Missouri, I loved the one I had in Missouri. I was outgrowing, and we're growing into it now. Actually, honestly, the newer machines I have, I'm going to have to downsize to stay fit in this print shop, but that's okay too, because it's real easy to get oversized, but honestly, if a machine is not functioning correctly and it's just not doing what you need it to do, then maybe it's time to let that machine go and replace it with something bigger, better, and badder, which if you guys caught the last stream, that Anycubic is massive. I have it powered on, but I haven't run a test print with it yet. Just kind of one of those things I want to do. I'm base coating the guns with I want the white to kind of pull through. So when I come back with like silvers and gunmetal, it kind of really makes the gun have that metallic pop. So that's why I'm black base coating. Because that's a lot of what's going on with this model right now, is still just bringing in a base coat. And this kind of grubby paint kind of gives it a little kind of an advantage here of kind of getting a kind of looks like grease kind of mixing, giving me some texture that I'm not used to seeing. I'm kind of liking. So the print is squeaky. Does it squishy? Does it feel like the print is thin almost? Like it's not solid? Because if it's feeling squishy, not solid like it should be, it could be under extrusion. It could be a heat issue. It's causing a partial clog, so you're not actually getting a full print. It's one of the things you may be running into. Very common issue, especially if it's a filament you haven't worked with, not a familiar brand. I'm one of those. If I don't know the brand, I'm pretty consistent with what I print with. Filament wise, I love using Inland PLA from Micro Center. It's very consistent, works very well. and my profile is pretty tried and true for it. Because most of the stuff I print with is PLA Plus from them. Like I said, I'm not too terribly worried about detail right now because I'm bringing in that black base layer. Then I'm going to build the silvers and stuff out on top of. Because that's the fun with building like silvers and stuff like that, is I can do a lot, especially even with this white coming through and stuff like that. Some of it's the PLA, some of it's the priming job is not the best. Some of it's just contexture, and I'm using a brush that's way too big and ratty. But it's basically letting me start bringing in some of the base coloring to it. And I'm using old paint, so it's probably not the Yeah, that's the inland PLA 2-days if that's what you're using. Yeah, that inland stuff is fantastic. And once you got a good profile, it works really, really, really well. You can get it off. You may not need to change the end, but if you are getting a clog, you may want to actually possibly change the nozzle, and then maybe even consider pulling your Bowden tube, taking a look, make sure you're not got a clog building up in the Bowden tube. Because that has happened to me before, where it's actually the problem is the Bowden tube, not the hot end. It's very disappointing when I run into that problem because it's usually the last thing I try sometimes. Nozzles, they're cheap, they're changeable, so changing out a nozzle usually is not an end game for me. I'm pretty willy-nilly on changing out nozzles. So, and all I'm doing with the distilled water with the paint guys is just trying to bring it back to life a little bit to kind of give it a paintable texture. I know, like that missile launcher, the white is showing through. I don't really care that it's showing through. It actually is going to kind of play a little bit to my advantage. And the fact that this black is laying down kind of smoky is a-okay with me as well, because I'm painting missile launchers right now, so they're going to look used. So, but 2-days, did you change a color of the filament that you're from what you usually print? Like, did you get an orange or something like that? Because sometimes I have learned with the colors that it can sometimes, like orange, I usually have to heat it up a couple degrees, because inland PLA I usually run it at a 215 temperature is my usual, but sometimes I'll have to bump it up a little bit. I have to bump it up a little bit higher to kind of give it some better texture. So definitely kind of making that Mad Cat come together, giving it some color. What I'll do, I don't know why I just did that, is I'll come in with some burnished metal over the black. Same with these guns, give it a real kind of metallic look. Come back into these seam lines. I want to, so I'm going to use my good old friend Silly Putty to help me out with the camo pattern across this. Sometimes that happens with shipping. The vacuum seal bag will inflate. Kind of one of those things. Is it being brittle and breaking? Because if it's brittle and breaking, then yeah, you've definitely got a moisture problem. But clogging, not so much. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible at all. Believe me, I'm wanting to really kind of get started. But I've got another trip I'm going on this weekend, and then I will I'll get started with my real printing. I've got a lot I got to get printing onto. Between the move, the construction, I had a little bit of an illness in there. We're starting to get back on track. So, a couple trips that were planned ahead. Of course, moving is always fun. If you don't know me, that is my attempt at sarcasm. Don't get me wrong, I'm starting to love the new house. But it's just kind of, it's been a lot of change, a lot of work real quick. Yes, you got to bump the tip for silk. You've got to bump it and slow it. Your extruder, basically the silk can get real gnarly and gum everything up real quick. So silk is I kind of tend to treat silk like what am I looking for? The word. I usually treat silk like PETG. So I usually bump my temp up, definitely higher than what I'm used to, what I would for PLA. And sometimes, rarely, I have to bump up my bed temperature sometimes. Which I've been using my Prusa here, since I've gotten here, and my Prusa is doing fine. My Odins are doing okay. I do have some setting adjustments I need to do, but we'll do that on another stream. I really just needed some therapy of the paintbrush. I really haven't sat down and done this. This is the first time I've painted since, well, whenever I painted last on stream, so been a while. But that laser engraver is going to be fun, and then the Cricut is just going to make like emblems on here just so simple. Instead of water transfer decals, I can actually do vinyl and stuff like that, or just stencil it and apply the stencil and go from there. So all right, that's just kind of giving us a bit of a base layer is all I'm after right now. So base coating it is kind of the goal. Kind of thinning this paint out to get it to be able to apply. I'm not too worried about staying in the lines right now. That'll clean up and it'll give some depth and texture to the model as we go. I'm kind of pulling in, so for back here, I'm kind of pulling in the layer lines. I'm leaving them on purpose. It is a great way to give lift and painted effect for wiring. And with this being a massive machine, it gives me some room to have some fun. I'm not just overly concerned, like I said, base coating. Oh, 2-a-days, yes. Warhammer is very much the rabbit hole. Did I ever show the finished Tesseract that I was working on? I know I painted it on stream several times. I don't know if I ever showed it. I have to do that once I find it. Now, Warhammer can be fun, definitely if you do it the right way, not just start 3D printing a bunch of Warhammer. Guys, don't do that. That's not the way you do it. Nice base coating right there. Get a better brush. Oh, I don't even have a paper towel. Huh. I'm not prepared to paint. What time is it? I've still got a little bit of time left till I have to go do work things. Actually, we got the black going. I don't know why I pulled this out. That goes to the small one. Before next time, I will redo the wet palette. But, so model building is definitely something that's going to get further onto this channel. Oh. And that is my Tesseract arc. And you can see that's my hand. So one of these is the size of my hand. And you've got the Necron inside, the greens, the bronzes, the greenish washing. I want to take the airbrush, come in underneath and give a green hue inside each of these paddles. I just haven't done that. But yeah, you can definitely tell this was a major work with the gold inlays, the bronzing, the silvers. Just a lot of work went into this one. So, and then basing. Yeah, this model, just the model costs $150. So, but you can see there is just a lot of detail. You can build this one in two ways. You can build it closed, you can build it open like this. I chose the open. The camera doesn't give it the justice. The detail on the figurine itself is really nice. But yeah, this was a, I probably have 80 hours in painting this. And this is all hand painted. There was no airbrush used here. So luckily now I have my airbrush station, so that's coming in for big use. So I've still got a ton of model projects up here to work on. My Klingon Katinga, it still needs work. I got tons of Warhammer models over here. We're going to get back to modeling. Modeling is definitely the second channel. When I launch it, I want to launch it with 5 videos right out the gate. I have 2 of them done. So I'm still very much working, but I'm going to talk about, why would you use silly putty with airbrushing and stuff like that? Because it's a great tool. Or, step up to the higher AK camouflage putty plastic, which is the same as kind of using the silly putty. I've got a model of the Alabama that I want to make a diorama with the water textures. There's just so much still to do that I just have not had time. A gaming table, oh man, that's going to be fun. Wish I had room for something like that. Well, I probably do, but then I want to get to even these, where it's these galvanized Starship models that I've picked up. I'm really kind of getting the Lord of the Rings. I've got some Soldiers of Gondor coming. I'm not sure if it even picked up the helicopter flying over my house, but it's kind of just one of those things. Yeah, that one's the Federation Dreadnought, and I also have just the Federation Battlecruiser, which is pretty sure this is just the Constitution class, but these are the metallic galvanized Federation Dreadnought and Federation. This is just Constitution class Battlecruiser, but this kind of stuff that I'm gonna be bringing over onto that channel. So I mean, come on, I've even got. How about some Krieg? So I've got a bunch of the Krieg troopers. I've got one of their big, this is the heavy Earthshaker artillery for them from Forge World. I've got a lot that I need to start working on. And honestly, there is a whole tower over here of about 12 drawers. And I'll just pull one out. Here's Necrons that just need love. And are going to get it on that modeling channel. So, ooh, Picard trailer. The Titan A. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about it. So, but we'll see. All the crew coming together. That's awesome. Jordy being a Commodore. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So a lot going on. You guys can see some of the stuff behind me. I've got the painting booth is right there with my airbrushes. I got models up there, Legos, all kinds of stuff. But stick around. There is a tour going to be coming up here probably in the next month of this area for the modeling channel, the paints, all that stuff. There'll be the shop tour. There's going to be a lot kind of coming up. So the next couple months are going to get hectic around here. The only bad thing is the Halloween costume kind of got scrapped for this year. And in a way, I'm okay with it. I don't know. I like the Inquiry class 2 days. And, you know, the La Serena, let her rest in peace. We got rid of her last season. So I'm okay with that. So kind of one of those things. It is what it is. But definitely kind of, it's growing. It's one of those things that we just got to keep looking at it and see what's going on. So it's definitely a step up, but we had a lot of ships in that new Federation fleet, and now we're doing a Titan A that looks like a Constitution class that's just been souped up, or it's a new Constitution class. I think we could have done better than that, but hey, you know, I'm just watching. The Inquiry class would have been cool to actually, take the Zhang He and actually see what it could do. That would have been kind of nice. But we put a laser engraver together. So there's actually talk about seeing the Enterprise D in this show. So there was talk about the old bridge. So I'm curious what we're gonna see there. So, and stick around because where is it? Oh. So let's, we're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about the modeling channel a little bit more. So here's one project that's coming up. I've got a ambassador class that has been primed that needs to be built. So we got that. The channel grew big enough 2 days that I'm able to they will put ads in my stream. That's a new thing we qualified for when we got past 5,000. So another project in the midst is I've got 3 Excelsior classes that need to be finished. So that's going to be coming over to the modeling channel. This one you're really going to like 2-a-day. Oh. So the 08th MS team. So I've got their 3 Gundams, 2 of the 79s, and I've got the Easy 8 that really needs some desperate help. So that's a project with terrain that I plan on doing over on the other channel to have those 3. 3D printing may get to play a game in this, and well, 3D printing will play a game in it in the terrain, and also maybe the hover truck. Hey, Sean Reap 13, how's it going? Then the last one that's kind of in the planned model line is the Sovereign class. So there's a lot of kits that I have lined out. You guys can tell I put my projects in boxes so I can keep everything together, kind of sort them out. And just make it to where I can work on multiple projects and rotate all at the same time. So, and luckily those stack really nice. They're right under my desk. I can easily grab a model and just start doing model stuff. So yeah, guys, that's kind of where we are. Lots coming up. I got to get a video done for Friday because I will be out of town on Friday. But yeah, so hopefully it won't be too long. We're getting back to this kind of stuff on the channel too. So I had a lot of models that broke and got damaged during the move. So we got to print new versions, new iterations, which will be kind of fun. And just kind of stuff we can all work on. And we'll keep painting on that Mad Cat over here too. So, oh, I see an FYI. Waiting for it. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the... Oh yeah. Printing it and finishing it, two whole different ballparks. Two whole different ballparks. Now, will you still see model finishing over on this channel? Yes. Specifically, the 3D prints will be finished over here. And then the rest of that stuff that you guys just saw is all model kits. Those are not 3D printed. Those are kits that I've bought and gotten over time. And I just want to start building them. I've got a whole shelf out in my garage that's nothing but model kits. And I want to get to work on those because when we moved, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how many models I had. So definitely one of those things that's got to get moving. I'm waiting on it to clear customs right now. I've got another Frozen Mega 8K on the way, so I'll have two of those in my shop. So we'll definitely be seeing some really cool resin 3D prints coming out. Big resin 3D prints. So we've got a lot of that coming too. So hopefully next week the print shop really can kind of get actually into action. So right now I'm getting the Raspberry Pis in place. I'm getting all the gear going. And there's just a lot of growth still to come to the shop to be completely functional again. So, because buying one printer, try managing almost 20 of them. It gets very hairy very quick. And that's actually me, I'm downsizing. I think after the downsize, I'm going to be within 16, back down to about 15 printers. FTM is really big, where SLA is about 3 or 4. I'm not going to have a whole bunch of them around. So, because SLA, I print faster. Even the larger machine, I still print faster than I do with FDM. So, kind of one of those fun things. But guys, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button to see all this cool stuff coming. If you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button. Help the stream out. Get some more people out here to watch it. And we're going to do all kinds of cool stuff, hopefully. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And also, if you want to consider backing the channel, head on over to Patreon and kind of help us out over there too. So, thank you guys. Hope you have a good night. We will see you guys next Tuesday, 7:15 or 8:15 EST. So, thanks guys.